Danielle Zana. As you know, I consider myself atheist, and I'm not the usual atheist. In a sense, I am rather out of the box. In a sense, because I agree to the concepts of extraterrestrials creating life on this planet through bioengineering, as well terraforming the planet to make it suitable for life to develop in a system development life cycle where there's um, reu you know, right because I see certain flaws in Darwinism, missing parts, and the whole uh, concept of bioengineering actually fills in the gaps. So, as you know, I actually had done this video over and over, and I've made mistakes, so I'm doing this the last time. And I'm limited to 15 minutes, so I have to try and cram everything in. Stupid YouTube. Anyway, first of all, I had been born with ambiguous genitalia, in other words, intersex. And a month after I'd been born, I had forced surgery to be made into a male. Although I am not male, you know, speaking. And the reason why my parents had done this, because they believe God does not make mistakes, and they decided to fix this as they saw this as a deformity. As I grew up in childhood, I had a lot. It was actually a living hell. I had been punished a lot if I didn't comply to the word of God, because they were a Christian Bible bash type. Too many times my mother would actually go around the house, try and exercise it. With wine and bread throwing all over the place, making a mess, trying to cast out evil spirits. So, as well as around from the age of 4, I kind of did a lot of thinking, and I questioned this whole thing myself, because it looked rather ridiculous. But me being at the age of 4, I never actually thought in the concept of language and things like that, where everything was just emotion. Did you know yet? I was like 4 years old. Okay. And anything that I come up with a question, and it was not against God, I actually got punished and told that the Word of God is like the book that explains life, the universe, and everything. Then I was actually put into a Christian school. It was with the ACE system, which is very bad, where most people actually got brainwashed, and they're actually still quite brainwashed to this day. I'm actually glad. Actually, if it wasn't for my extraterrestrial visit, I think I'd have been still in the mess, in a sense, perhaps. Basically, in the school, it's called the ACE system. The students worked in like cubicles, and much of the subject matter, like maths, science, had religion thrown into it. And yeah, basically, my first day of school, I had my first corporal punishment, because I didn't go according to rules and things. And yeah, and as time went on, me expressing out my, knowing I'm different, I tried to express out my feminine side, and I got punished for it. And seeing videos of saying that gay people, homosexuals, and that are against God, and that kind of brings back those memories of abuse. And this has to end, because I just don't like another person like me going through the same thing. Then when I was 11, I actually met up with an extraterrestrial. Actually, before that, I think when I was 4 years old, I was given an extraterrestrial keyring as a gift. It was actually ET. And my parents confiscated it and got rid of it, threw it away, and because I actually felt quite connected to it in a sense. And I actually feel a conspiracy, because when my mother told me that she experienced strange lights when I was conceived. Then I always loved extraterrestrials and things. And I always used to when I used to play with nature and all that, play with twigs and leaves and that, and I used to pretend I was somewhere else. Yeah, at 11 I met the extraterrestrial. Her name is Nanya, but I didn't know the name then. She showed me a few holograms and that, and there was footprints, evidence that she was there. Because my parents were actually quite religious, they said she was perhaps an angel. From this, I was actually inspired and developed my artwork as well. I got sick with the virus, and I lost the hearing in my left ear, but I've actually lost it again. Where she had like an implant and got better, but I just hope I get that implant in again to get better. I think it's been left because of certain things. So the footprints were there. We had plaster Paris made over them, and I kept them near my bedside. When my parents found my artwork, which was very sensual at the time, 11, and basically sensual intimacy, also known as sexual contact. 11-year-old doing that sort of drawings, my parents found rather disturbing, and I mentioned the Nanya and that she was naked and all that. They actually said she was a demon, and so they confiscated these what you call plaster Paris things. And the Nanya didn't actually do anything. All she did, she held me in the lap, stroked my hair, showed me holograms, talked, and as well told me about life being bioengineered on this planet. Later on, I have to really hurry this. Later on, I had actually broken my back. Later on, because I tried to commit suicide, because I found out that I could have been possibly transsexual. When I tried to express out tell them this, they reacted badly. They got the church to try and cast demons out of me and things like that, and it was very stressful and gave me anxiety attacks and everything. And they tried to conform me, and I eventually lost my sanity, and I tried to commit suicide. And I jumped out the window and broke my back. In university, I studied zoology and information systems. Zoology did focus on the theory of evolution, Darwinism. I call it just Darwinism because it doesn't have the concept of space people coming and working around and that. However, in the exam, when I can remember, the one question I did argue about certain things of evolution, recalling, from the time when I was 11 years old. Um, didn't really turn out well. But anyway, I had the courage to do that in my exam. And then they always had a fight. They always got my artwork and destroyed it. And to this day, I'm still having the same issue now with society. So it was not my parents giving me a boost by my artwork. Now it's like DeviantArt, Facebook, you name it, because they can't understand what is natural and the whole perception of what my artwork is with nudity and sensuality. They don't see it as natural. They see it something disgusting or immoral in a sense, based on the concept of how religions affected policies and things like that, which is really unfair, and it's discriminatory to my culture and any naturalist and any person who has a far eastern leftist philosophy and spirituality. As I later joined the Raelian movement, which is a group of people who are atheists who agree on the concept that life had been created by extraterrestrials, and this was like more information that kind of like bag with a whole lot more information actually, the messages they were given to a person named Rael by an extraterrestrial. And I won't go into details why this person had been chosen to be the postman in order to deliver the message to people on this planet, because it's quite a subject in itself, and there's many arguments based on it. Well, that's my thing. That's my situation, because I don't fully gel with Darwinism on its own. And then also another thing is with the ancient astronaut theorists. They come looking at ancient artifacts and archaeological digs that tend to support this theory, which basically is like the Raelian movement calls it intelligent design by extraterrestrials, not God. Then the sense is I very much because I was actually bashed about in the belief of God and all that, and what I'm actually up against is how God is related to money, and then as well as politics, the reason how wars are caused, and all that. So yeah, and many even things in science gets labeled with the name God. For example, like the God particle, which is pretty something. So yeah, and also what I also focus on as I follow my consciousness, which is a cosmic consciousness, which doesn't follow a book or a Bible or anything like that. So yeah, and the thing is, I don't have a religion at all. Although I consider myself Raelian, I am only spiritual Raelian, where I apply or run through the teachings and things like that, because I know that sensuality is, I've always known that, but now I know more detail. But anyway, I'm 40. This time is really bad. So yeah, I've just been through a lot of child abuse in the name of Christianity and all that. And I looked at other religions and that. I've even expressed with Hinduism, and I prefer Hinduism, but I'm just atheist now. Namaste.